Hello everyone, welcome to ixamBee. This is Bankbee channel especially focused on the preparation for banking exams. So in this video, we'll be discussing with the PSU banks and their taglines, and I'll tell you some tricks to remember those taglines. So let's begin with the video. So friends, as you know, after the merger, there are only 12 PSU banks now. So we will be discussing the taglines for only these banks. So first is Central Bank of India. As you can see, the tagline says central to you since 1911. So the tagline for Central Bank of India is very easy to remember since the common word here is the central. The same central word comes in the bank's name also and also in the tagline. So you can relate very well with this. The second bank is Bank of Baroda. As you know, Vijay Bank and Dena Bank has been merged with Bank of Baroda. Its tagline says India's International Bank. Now the trick over here is, if you see the short form of Bank of Baroda, it says BOB, that is Bob, and Bob name sounds like an international name. So you can relate the international name Bob with India's International Bank. So it's easy to remember that way. The next bank is Canara Bank. So as you know, Syndicate Bank has been merged with the Canara Bank. The tagline here says together we can. Now this is also very easy to remember. Since the last word here is can and these are the starting few letters over the bank's name. So can here is the last word, and also in the beginning, as you see, of the Canara Bank, the three letters are common. So in that way you can remember this name also. The next bank is Union Bank of India. So as you know, Andhra Bank and Corporation Bank have been merged with the Union Bank of India. So the tagline says good people to bank with. Now trick to remember over here is union of good people is always a good thing. So you can remember as in union of good people. So here union word will remind you of Union Bank of India and good people will remind you of the tagline union of good people. So it's easier to remember this way. Bank is UCO Bank. The tagline says honors your trust. Now there are two ways to remember it. You can remember it as your honor. See, I have replaced YOUR with just you, so that UCO Bank starts with you, here is you, and honor relates to its tagline. If it's difficult for you to remember that way, there is another method also. UCO very much sounds like UFO. Okay, and honors your trust, the short form for this is HYT, which very much sounds like height. So you can say UFO flies at a height. So here UFO will remind you of UCO and height will remind you of HYT, that is honors your trust. So this way you can remember this tagline. The next bank is Punjab National Bank. As you know, Oriental Bank of Commerce and United Bank of India has been merged with the PNB. The tagline says the name you can bank upon. Now the trick here is you can remember like Punjabi names are interesting. So here Punjabi will remind you of Punjab and names here will remind you of the tagline. If you have noticed, the basic trick is you should include some word from the bank's name and some word from the tagline so that as soon as you see the tagline you can relate to the bank. The next bank is Punjab and Sindh Bank. The tagline here is where service is a way of life. So trick to remember is Punjab serves langar. So as you know, Punjabi serves langar. So here Punjab will remind you of Punjab and Sindh Bank and serves will remind you of service. So in that way you can relate to it. Now see friends, there are two banks whose name starts with Punjab. Punjab National Bank and Punjab and Sindh Bank. So here you have to remember something like Punjabi names are interesting, will relate to Punjab National Bank. Here P and N, you can relate P and N, conjugative case, and the names will refer to tagline and Punjabi will refer to Punjab. Also for the PSB, if you see Punjab serves, so serves will relate to service and Punjab will remind you of Punjab and Sindh Bank. The good part in the MCQs is you do not have to write the whole tagline, but you have to just choose among the option. So as soon as you see the options, it will remind you of these tricks and you will be able to relate to these taglines. The next bank is Bank of India. Its tagline is relationships beyond banking. Now the trick here is the short form of Bank of India is BOI, which is boy, which much sounds like boy. So we can say that every boy should have a relationship with a bank. See, it's not just that every boy should have, but girls should also have. But here, just to remember this line, we can say every boy should have a relationship with a bank. So here, boy word will refer to boy, B-O-I, and relationship will refer to the tagline, that is relationship beyond banking. So this way you can remember it. The next bank is Bank of Maharashtra. And the tagline says one family, one bank. So the easier way to remember this tagline is 1 MB data for one family. So as you know, this refers to internet data. So MB, that is Bank of Maharashtra, will remind you of the bank's name, and family here would remind you of the tagline. So in this way you can remember this tagline. The next bank is Indian Bank. As you know, NABARD Bank has been merged with the Indian Bank. The tagline says your own bank. So the trick to remember is, we can say India is your own country or India is our own country. So here India will remind you of Indian and own will remind you of own bank. So in this way you can relate to the tagline. The next bank is Indian Overseas Bank. The tagline says good people to grow with. So here the trick would be overseas people help in nation's growth. So as you know, all those Indian overseas people help in the national growth. So you can relate this overseas with the bank's name and growth with the tagline. So in this way you can remember the tagline. The next bank is State Bank of India. Now here many taglines are there, but the most common is the banker to every Indian. So overall you will have to remember the taglines for the State Bank of India, but some tricks here are, for the first one, with you all the way. So as you know, wherever you go, you will find the SBI branches, even in rural areas, even the remote areas. So you will find the SBI branches all the way. In this way, you can relate with the first tagline, with you all the way. The second is, every Indian common man has an account with SBI. So as you know, most of the people have an account with the SBI. So here, Indian will remind you banker to every Indian, as in every Indian also has an account with SBI. And common man would remind you of this tagline, a bank of the common man, that is every common man has an account with the SBI. So in this way you can relate to these taglines. Of course, you'll have to remember pure banking, nothing else, and nation bank on us. So friends, let's see a quick recap. Central to you since 1911. As I said, the word central will remind you of Central Bank of India. The second is India's international bank. As I said, international would refer to BOB. BOB stands for Bank of Baroda. Here is the answer, Bank of Baroda. The third is Together We Can. So the last word, if you remember, can, starts from Canara Bank. Here you can relate to it. Good people to bank with. So as I said, Union of Good People. So Union Bank of India. The next is honors your trust. So as I said, your honor, or if you can't remember this, you can relate to height, UFO flies height, so that is UCO Bank. The name you can bank upon. So as I said, Punjabi names are interesting, so Punjab National Bank. The next is where service is a way of life. So Punjab serves langar, so Punjab and Central Bank. Relationship beyond banking. As we saw, every boy should have a relationship with a bank. So boy stands for Bank of India. The next is one family, one bank. As we saw, 1 MB data for one family. MB here is for Bank of Maharashtra. The next one is your own bank. So India is our own country or India is your own country. So that stands for Indian Bank. The next is good people to grow with. So as we saw, overseas people help in national growth. So grow and overseas would stand for Indian Overseas Bank. The next is banker to every Indian. So every common man or every Indian has a bank account with SBI. So it stands for State Bank of India. So in this way, friend, you can remember these taglines very well related to the banks. Of course, you have to revise these things so that it comes into your memory at one go. Friends, if you like this video, kindly hit the like button. Also subscribe to our Bankbee channel so that you do not miss any of our videos. Also, we have an SSCB channel which is mainly focused on SSC and railway exams preparation. So do subscribe that channel as well. So friends, keep preparing for your exams. All the best. We'll meet soon. Thanks for watching the video.